Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Dear brothers and sisters, this is Justin for Yaqeen Institute, and I want to talk to you today about a tip for Ramadan and talk a little bit about how mindfulness relates to our fasting. So the point I'm going to make here today is based off of what Imam al-Ghazali says in his book Ihya Ulumuddin. So he says there are three levels of fasting. First, there's Sawm al-Umum, that's the fasting of the common people, and that's the basic minimum that we're not eating and drinking or being intimate with spouses during the daytime. And then the second level of fasting, he says, is Sawm al-Khusus. That's the fasting of the spiritual elite. And that is to fast from all kinds of sins, and in particular, the sins of the tongue. So avoiding backbiting, avoiding gossip, avoiding using profane words and things like that. And then the third level of fasting, he says, is Sawm Khusus al-Khusus. This is the Sawm, or the fasting of the elite, of the spiritual elite. And he says that that's the fasting of the heart, Sawm al-Qalb. From what? From al-Afkar ad-Dunyawiyya, from worldly thoughts, meaning unnecessary worldly thoughts. So this is the type of fasting and the level of fasting that I'm going to try and practice this Ramadan, and I suggest that you practice too. Because remember, when we learn in our mindfulness practice, we know how thoughts are formed and how we can get better control over our thoughts, and then we can utilize that during our fasting, and that instead of reflecting on al-afkar ad-dunyawiyya, just unworthy worldly thoughts that are unnecessary and are just distractions, we can focus instead on dhikr and muraqabah, and being mindful with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, reciting the Quran, learning about Islam, reading books about Islam, listening to Islamic lectures, and so on. So that's what I'm going to focus on this Ramadan, is being more mindful and having more control over my thoughts and not listening to the worldly thoughts as much as I would normally do. And that's a tip that I have for you as well. So I ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to accept our fasting and to make this Ramadan a blessing for us and our families. And we'll see you next time, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.